So hello, how are you? Welcome to another little podcast. It's Friday again. Happy Friday. I cannot believe it's Friday again. It's just gone so quickly. I think it's because it's my favourite time of year, actually. And I kind of want it to go a bit more slowly. I want to slow it up, and it just seems to be going so quickly. But it's just that little bit colder. It's still a lovely, still get lovely sunny days, but it's just a bit chillier, and you're thinking, oh, I might get my boots out. Oh, I might get a coat. And you either get autumn and you think, I know exactly what she means, or you're thinking, what is she talking about? But I love that. I love the idea that you have to put socks on again, and you need to think about, do I need a scarf? Do I need to take a scarf? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, goodness, I'm nattering. So this is a new little pattern that's in the shop now. Oh Christmas tree, that lovely oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. So we've done it in our same floral style, and it's lovely. So actually what I wanted to do, I will talk to you about more in a minute, but I'm just going to talk to you about fabrics actually quickly. So I just wanted to talk to you because there was a question in the comments last week. I think it was Sue. Hello Sue, if you're watching. And I thought it would be easier to talk about linens, and basically Sue was asking me about the linens that I use when I'm stitching. So I thought I'd take you through really the different sort of choices of things that you could stitch on. So this is Copperfield's finished. Sorry, I'm getting distracted already. Thank you for your lovely messages. I'm so happy you're enjoying Copperfield. And don't forget, when you finish him, you can embellish him and do all sorts of things, write things and put slow stitching on. And also when you're stitching him, add your own little flowers in if you want to. And I'm so excited to see all the different colourways that you're going to do it in, because you can obviously do yours, put the colours wherever you want to, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. Anyway, back to the fabric, Sherry. So this is pure linen, which is what I like to, either 100% cotton, 100% linen is what I like to stitch on, simply because the needle goes through beautifully, and when you're stitching you want it to be a calm, pleasurable thing to do. So if you've got a fabric that it's quite difficult to get your needle in and out of, and doesn't feel nice in your hands, it's not such a pleasure. So this is around a 250 GSM. So this is more, I would say, like upholstery linen weight. So if you see a shop on your high street which has got upholstery weight rather than, say, your dressmaking fabrics, that's where I tend to pick up my linens. And if I see a linen I love, I'll buy several meters of it. And honestly, this may sound really an odd thing to do, but I have a little sewing kit with me anyway, but I will always put my needle through and make sure that it goes in nicely. So that's that. So this is around, as I said, anything between 230 and 260 GSM. So that's what Copperfield came on. This fabric here for the Sweetest Flower, that's that same weight as well. Sweetest Flowers are on their way too. Thank you so much for your patience. We've had so many extra orders for that one, but that will soon be on its way. So that's that weight. Now you can also get, this is a lighter weight linen, so this is thinner. So I would say this is probably like 170 to 180, and you can just see I don't know if you can see my hands through it. I still love embroidering on this. I think it's beautiful. It's, again, if you put a needle in, it's so lovely. It just goes in beautifully, and it's just lovely to stitch on. Sometimes, so this is what I stitch my cow parsley on, and when I'm stitching my alphabet, that I'm doing over on Patreon at the moment. There is an O coming for our Patreons. There will be an O. This is August. You've had September. I'll show you my September one, and then you'll have an O for October. And as I've said, I'm doing mine for a little book, but these will be beautiful on your if you're keeping a nature journal or something like that. But what I will often do, and I think when I sent so many out, I think it's cow parsley. I sent out some muslin with it too. So this is very, very thin. And what I will do often, I just like to use muslin. You can buy stabilizers and all sorts of things, but I like to put this behind it, and I will literally put that behind my linen just to make it that little bit sturdier. Sometimes I do that. Depends on my mood. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but that can help. So that's a lighter weight linen, again pure linen. You can get linen cotton mixes, and that's absolutely lovely too. Just honestly put your needle through it, and if you're happy with it and you think that works, and you would be able to get a lighter weight linen in a dressmaking shop, you would get that sort of 170, 180 GSM. Hope this is making sense. But my favourite thing, basically you can stitch on anything. My favourite thing to stitch on, one of my favourite things, is vintage linens. I love them. So this is damask, and this is what I'm stitching my Herbarium quilt on. Lady asked to see my Herbarium quilt in total, what I've done so far. I will pop out in a minute. I'll put on my table everything I've got with me, those that I keep with me, so you can see. Sorry about that, I'm stitching so many things and I do forget sometimes to show. So yeah, that's lovely vintage fabric, and if you had our to autumn box, you got some lovely vintage fabric with that. I've had lots of requests for this on its own. We can't sell any more to autumn boxes, they have gone. I'll see if I can put this pattern out. It will either be on its own or with some threads. I'll try and get that done. So yes, basically this again comes in all different. Sometimes you'll get like a sateen fill, sometimes it will be a thicker cotton, a thicker damask, and same thing, if you can put your needle through it and it feels good, it's not too starchy, then it would be lovely to stitch on. And again, if you need to put any kind of backing behind it, you can. I don't tend to buy embroidery stabilisers and that kind of thing, because I like it as it is. This is some lovely vintage linen. So I think the first of the Wren and the Robin, these were Wren and Robin kits, I think they went out on vintage linen. But you can also stitch on, so this is cotton. This was in a folklore box that we did, probably a couple of years ago now. And this is quite thin cotton, still absolutely beautiful. Edward hair on quite thin cotton. You can see how thin it is. Beautiful. If you see any old tablecloths or tray cloths or things like that, so this is a beautiful, I wouldn't stitch on this one, or I would embellish it, but I wouldn't cut this one up to stitch on. But this is lovely, beautiful to stitch on. And tablecloths, vintage tablecloths. So basically what I'm saying is you can sew on anything. I also love to sew on striped fabric. I love sewing on striped fabric. And you can sew on pure linen, a linen cotton mix. Something else that is good that you can buy easily online actually is Robert Kaufman Essex linen, which comes in all different shades, and that's lovely to stitch on. I hope that's helped. So basically linens, I like the heavier weight linens. I just equally love these too. So let me tell you about my Christmas tree. So we have a new little stitch for Christmas. It's still some way off. I'm not going to say thank goodness, but I don't really want to start thinking about Christmas, but I do like to prepare bits for it. So this is our little Christmas tree one. The pattern is, so it comes with 5 threads. So you've got a lovely sort of plum colour, a lovely reddy pink, like antique gold, which I've used for like the trunk and the pine cone, and then you've got 2 different greens and a lovely yellow and white. Oh, Sherry, that's literally a needle in my hand. And this has been dyed up so that you have white in there as well as yellow for your gold. So because down the bottom And you can do some lovely little French knots for snow on the ground and add it all in the Christmas tree. So as with all of our patterns, do embellish it, do add extra on there, do add extra flowers, put the colours on as you wish them, make it your own. Stitches, it's very simple. For all of the branches, I've used a split stitch, which I think I've shown you before. You literally go back, and instead of doing a back stitch, you literally split the stitch. You can then whip that, by which I just mean you go between each one of these stitches and overlap it. I haven't actually on this because I quite like the look of it, but you can do that. There's a woven wheel stitch, there is bullion roses, this pine cone is lots of little seed stitches with a few French knots in there. It's a lovely stitch if you've done stitching before. Oh, and lots of detached chain, which I do a little tiny one and then one around the outside, a bigger one around the outside. If you've done lots of stitching before, it's still a lovely stitch, but if you're new to stitching, I think it's very achievable. You can also, you don't have to do bullion roses, you could just do these simple little flowers. You put what you want on. You will get the pattern, we'll show you where to put them, but you can put the flower of your choice on. This is on, again, that heavyweight linen, so this is about 250 GSM, the linen, so it's a lovely, I like the colour of it too. I think that would be lovely on a cushion or something like that for Christmas. So, oh, and this is, I've used chain down here, but again, you use your stitches, you could use stem stitch here. Yeah, have fun, have fun. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about Christmas quickly. So we've put an extra few Advents and 12 days. When they're gone, because we're obviously at the point now where the Advents and 12 days boxes and the Christmas Eve boxes, we're going to be starting to ship very soon. So when the Advents are gone, they're gone. And while I'm talking about Post and Christmas things, etc., Canada Post are on strike, but I was reading today that and we've been unable to send any of your parcels, but I've been reading today that it's improving a little, so I believe we're going to be able to send your parcels off if you're in Canada. If you could just check to see if you've received an email from us, because some people who ordered before the tariffs were implemented for America, we need your telephone number. So if you could check, there are just a few people that haven't got back to us with their telephone numbers, and this is something that USPS need. It's not something we need, but it's something USPS need, and we can't send your parcel without that. What else? Was there anything postified? I was going to say, I don't think so. So yes, I know it seems really strange to be talking about last thing for Christmas, but we kind of have to work months and months in advance, and it's been Christmas here for quite some time, and very jolly it's been too. There's one other thing I was going to show you actually before I go. We haven't been able to get it in the shop for this week, but we have done a new little butterfly kit, because I'm going to poke myself on that in a minute. Let me go and get it, bear with. I've just thought of something else actually I'm going to put in a kit that I think you'll love it, just an extra little thing to add in. So this little bag, I've got to be honest, this is destined for a lovely friend, and I didn't realise I hadn't sent it, and I found it the other day. I have a little box that I keep all my special little bits and pieces and completed pieces in, and this was in there, and I haven't sent it, so this will be on its way to you very soon. I'm not going to tell you who you are because I want you to be surprised, but this was a little butterfly pattern that was in our, let me think, I think it may have been in our Swallows and Butterflies bag, box, I can't remember. We had lots and lots of requests for this pattern and for the box, but the box sold out. So what we've done is we have a new butterfly pattern that Christopher and I have designed a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just not quite ready to go in the shop unfortunately for today, but it will hopefully go in possibly over the weekend, but probably next week, which will come with hand-dyed threads. So it's a little embroidery set, a little embroidery kit, but there is going to be the option to add this little butterfly pattern on, so should you wish to have two butterflies, this pattern will be added in. But I'm really sorry that wasn't ready for this week, but it will be in there soon, and this bag will be on its way soon to you. So I think that's everything. So, sorry it's been a bit disjointed. It's been a super busy week and I've been a bit all over the place, and I really wanted to do this video. So yeah, wishing you a lovely weekend. If you have any questions, if I've not been clear about something or there's something you'd like to know, ask in the comments and I will try and answer you in the comments, but if not, I will answer it in next week's video. And happy stitching.